I want my 3 associates to come up. Lance is upstairs, so Ty, are you here? I'm going to let you stand in Lance's place. I want y'all to stand right here. Right there on that very first step. Now, I'm going to ask some leaders to come up. People of influence. Mark Thomas, Wayne Sheridan, Roger Gleat, Hurley Clinton. Red, I don't think, is here. I want you guys to come. All right. Now, here's what happens. Jonathan is making progress. He's coming against the enemy, though he only has a spear and a sword. That's all he's got. That's all he's got. And it says he and the armor bearer killed 20 enemies within a half acre. A half acre, this building is 100 by 200. That's a half acre. An acre is 45,000 square feet. This is 200 or 20,000 square feet. This single building is a half acre. So I just want you to visualize the size of this building. So Jonathan goes up and he is climbing. It says climbing hands and feet. No successful person has ever said, wow, this was easier than what I anticipated. If you think, because I stand up here and tell you good news every day and every Sunday and every time you come, and I'm always laughing and shouting and praising God, that there is no warfare, that I don't have to fight the same fight you do, use the same kind of faith you use, speak the same kind of word that God says speak, that I tell you to use, that I don't give. You know, that'd be the heights of hypocrisy for me to tell you to give, me not give. I do the same things you're supposed to do. But here's what I want you to see. Now, all of you that are in the congregation are behind these. So here I am. I'm representing Jonathan, who is representing the man who is pursuing the will of God, and each one of us pursue the will of God. But what is the purpose of the armor bearer? It's to protect the person he's serving. And since there is no back in the armor, what it says in this passage is that as Jonathan went forward and killed those before him, the armor bearer came along behind and killed behind him. Let me just put it this way. The armor bearer covered his back. Here I am, progressing up the hill. And it says he climbed hands and feet up that mountain to get to the Philistines. It wasn't an easy climb to get up there to fight the fight. And I don't know why he's even going up there. He's only got one sword and one spear and an armor bearer, and there's 20 and a half acre. Not to mention everybody else. But watch what happens. As he climbs up, come on guys, everybody come up with me. As he climbs up and everybody's climbing by, he's got my back, they got their back, they got their back, and you've got their back. And you know what happens? When we climb up together to come against the enemy, now everybody turn around. When we climb up together to that place, God begins to move supernaturally. And it says, as they got to the top, the earth began to shake. A great shaking took place. And it said it so confused the enemy, they panicked and turned on one another. And then it began to shake. And then, I love this one. Then Saul says, bring me the priest. Bring me the people. And it says, and Saul, I love this, Saul the king is talking. I love that. Talk is cheap. As Saul is talking, the tumult and the panic begins to increase greatly till the whole place is in total disarray. Because there was one man with faith and one man who chose to serve and to guard his back. If one will put 1,000 afloat, 2 of us will put 10,000 afloat. What about 3 of us, 4 of us, 5 of us will cause 100 to flee? 100 of us will cause 10,000 to flee. Though God is God of all, He's looking for a man. He's looking for one person who will pioneer. Now listen to this. 20%, 10% of people are pioneers. I can be arrogant, but I am a pioneer. We pioneered this ministry, we pioneered this church, we pioneered the school, the daycare, and Second Chance Ranch. Didn't do it alone. There were people who come along to guard our backs. People who climbed that steep hill when they didn't even have a weapon and maybe didn't even get credit. They pioneered together. And then settlers came. Hey, this is a great church. How did you find us? We were driving down the freeway, saw you billboards, saw you on TV, saw you on the internet. And people rally and then camp out. But let me tell you about the 20%. They're antagonists. The 80-20 pair-2 principle. 20% do the work. 80% reap the harvest, the covering. 20% do most of the giving, 80% do most of the receiving. It's kind of like the house. Mom does all the work, Daddy only notices it when it's not done. The kids want to know when the laundry's going to be done. Like they don't know where the washing machine is. They can operate a car and can't operate a button on a washing machine. I'm trying to help somebody. I'm not preaching to everybody. I'm preaching to teenagers now. But look what happens. Because Jonathan and his armor bearer, in spite of the lack of many, in spite of weaponry, by faith, climbed up. It tells me that if you get 10 people together, there's always going to be 2 that don't understand, that antagonize you. Think of your 10 closest friends and just think how many of them don't get you. They're always quick to tell you why you need to face reality. They're always quick to tell you that that's not what God really means. That was for 2,000 years ago. They don't really mean to be antagonists. They are so antagonized themselves. It's an inside job. They're so consumed with themselves and their own credit, sometimes they lose sight that we have just scaled this mountain. We have just gone where no one's ever gone before. And they get their minds divided and their eyes off of Jesus and on the storm, and they begin to sink. Thank you, gentlemen.